Prabhu sir, we are on live on YouTube also, sir.
Okay, good.
So good evening to one and all present here. This is Sendil. Hearty welcome to Mr. Lokesh Kumar. Lokesh Kumar. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, Sendil, we can start.
வெள்ளத்தனைய மலர் நீட்டம் மாந்தர்தம் உள்ளத்தனையது உயர்வு. With this Tirukural note, let us start today's event. Glad good evening to one and all present here. This is Sendil, faculty from Mechanical Engineering. Very proud and privileged to host this day 5 of International Alumni Webinar Series. Normally, we used to say alumni are the torchbearers, ambassadors, this, that for an institution. Of course, they are. But I would rather say they are the success icons for any teachers. I'm sure every teacher will have at least 10 to 15 alumni very close to their hearts till they end. Here we have such an alumni from 2002-2006 batch, Mr. Lokesh Babu GR, country head Australia, Optimum Solutions from Singapore. It's very apt to have an alumni from the early years on this closing ceremony of this International Alumni Webinar Series. Now let me request a person behind this webinar series, our vibrant Vice Principal Admin and also the Head Department of Mechanical Engineering, Professor L. Prabhu, to welcome the August gathering.
Thanks, Sendil. Respected Director Research, Dr. Satyamurthy sir, beloved Director International Affairs, Mr. Syed Mohammed, and my proud student, Mr. Lokesh Babu, Mr. Lakshmi Mohan, placement in charge as well as head Center for Industry Relations, my dear colleagues, and our distinguished alumni, Mr. Madan, that is manager from Nissan, my dear colleagues, my dear students, and all participants. It's indeed my good afternoon to one and all. It's indeed my immense pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Lokesh Babu, who is the 2002 to 2006 passed out student in AVIT. Now he is very happy and very proud to announce that he is the country head for Optimum Solutions, Australian-based, that is a Singapore-based company. He is a country head in Australia. He is the main person behind establishing Optimum Solutions in Australia. We had a discussion for last 1 week in that he has shared so many, that is his initiatives and his things. I'm very proud to hear and I invited him for this particular international webinar. He readily accepted and he joined us. I hope that he'll give a lot of inputs to the student. It's not generally the technical oriented session. It will be a motivating section. On this lecture, I welcome Lokesh Babu for this international alumni lecture. Welcome, Lokesh. Whatever the initiative that AVIT has taken in last 2 years, definitely our director research as inputs and guidance was there. That's why that university and the institution is progressing, especially in terms of research. Today also, I am very happy to receive a mail from director research about the research policy, where I can able to find n number of benefits, not only for the faculty but also for the student. A lot of grants are there, a lot of honorarium also there for the faculty who pursue a lot of research activities. On this particular international alumni lecture, I am very happy to acknowledge sir's effort in bringing out such initiatives in Vinayaga Mission Research Foundation. I extend my sincere thanks and I extend my hearty welcome to this international alumni lecture series, sir. Now another person who joined us very late, but that is MNC corporate level culture is happening in the university. Lot of positive vibrations, positive things. If we speak with him for 5 to 10 minutes, definitely will be energized. And with this, that is the way he talks with the faculty members, with the students and all. It's really an amazing experience which we have never got during this particular last 15 to 20 years. He is none other than our Director Internationals, Mr. Syed Mohammed. When I was just talking about this international alumni, he himself said that please, I want to be a part of this particular alumni lecture, because since he's taking care of international affairs, he immediately that's his strength, that is motivation, because he's not waiting for us to call him. He himself said that I want to be a part of this particular thing. Already I planned for that that is valedictory section. He himself has joined. He has given his inputs on this particular time. It's very I feel very happy to welcome Mr. Syed Mohammed for his international alumni lecture. And also Madan, he want to, because Madan and Lokesh Babu are very close. To be frank, I was not in touch with Lokesh for last 15 years or maybe 16, 17 years. Madan only has given his number. I was just thinking who is Lokesh, but seeing the face, I was very happy that I can able to recognize. Even he has shared the PPT also. He has shared his 2006 photo. All of us can easily identify, because he is still maintaining his health. He's almost 37, but he looks so young. At this particular point, I thank Madan and also welcome Madan for this particular international alumni. Lakshmi Mohan sir is a man of connectivity. He has established a lot of connects, not only among the institutions, not only between the institutions and the industries, but also from AVIT to other parts of the world. Today also he shared that that is AVIT has signed 4 that is MOU with foreign universities, especially in USA. So he's the man of connectivity. He has joined us. Thanks for joining us, and also I welcome you on behalf of the department. The entire faculty, whatever the activity that we are doing inside the campus, it's all because of the team effort, and also that is full support from the faculty members, right from Dr. A.M. Prabha to the last, that is newly joined Mr. Aravind. I cannot able to differentiate one from others. All of them are giving excellent support, not only the faculty, also the students. This particular team, if we start working together, and also with the support of alumni like Lokesh Babu, yes, we can able to do a lot of wonders. I just wanted to talk about only a few things about the topic. In our day-to-day life, or wherever, whatever the situation we are, the first question comes into our mind is what's next. Even that is after having our breakfast, the next thing is we'll think about what's next, what we are going to plan for lunch. In life, once you complete your +2, then what next? What we are going to pursue? Each and everything. Once you have completed one semester, then what next? What's your progress to the next level? So that particular question will be there in every day-to-day life. Now the location is going to give us about, especially for the students, what next. Whether they can able to want to pursue their higher studies, means yes, what are the various ways are there, what are the various provisions are there, how you can able to progress, how you can able to get success. So a lot of things is going to share. When we are having a chat, he said that it's not that we continuously talking for 30-40 minutes and nobody is going to listen. So we'll have separate breaks, and we'll have certain questionnaires in between. And he himself came out and he said that he's going to announce some prizes. Those who are going to get, that is going to ask few questions in between the sessions. The best student, attentive student will be getting 3,000 rupees, and the second attentive student will be getting 2,000, and the third for rupees 1,000. Just a motivational thing that he is doing on his part. I really thank Mr. Lokesh and Madan for helping us in conducting this international alumni, and also welcome each and every faculty and the students for this international alumni lecture series. Thanks, Sendil. I just hand over the session to you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for your warm welcome as an initiator of this program. Thank you, sir. Now let me call upon the driving force of our campus, the Director of Research, Vinayaga Missions Research Foundation, our own Dr. A.C.V. Satyamurthy, sir, to deliver the presidential address. Sir, please.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Mr. Lokesh Babu GR, Country Head, Australia, Optimum Solutions, Singapore. Mr. Madan, respected Dr. Syed Mohammed, respected Professor Prabhu, Vice Principal Admin and Head of Mechanical Engineering Department, Professor Senthil, Professor Lakshmi Mohan, many senior colleagues from Mechanical Engineering Department, and my dear students. I'm extremely happy that, of course, Prabhu is known for this, that to do something very good, something very different from others, He is the leader. Maybe I don't know by birth, but I know him for quite maybe almost 2 years, and always he has a stamp of his own. It never occurred to me that series like this, international alumni lecture series, can be conducted, and he is conducting for the last 5 days, and he has been successful. This is what I heard, and he could attract the best of the alumni for this series. I should thank Mr. Lokesh Babu for choosing a very apt topic and going to share his experiences. First, thank you very much for joining us and uh, agreeing to give the talk. Normally, we pay honorarium to the speakers. Instead, I understand he has offered some prizes to the best students. That is the commitment. That is the attachment which he has for the institute. Obviously, we will have, especially when we become successful in our career, we have certainly a lot of attachment to our alma mater. And I request him when he is visiting India to come to AVIT and see how we have progressed in the last 15 years in terms of academics, in terms of lab facilities, in terms of research facilities, and in terms of total ambience itself. Well, the topic, in fact, I am really interested. I am going to be there till the end of the session unless somebody calls me urgently. What next? As Prabhu rightly told, what next is a generic question which we always get. Once I complete one job, I don't want to close my laptop and I want to say what next is pending. This is fine. These are all generic things which we do always. But this addressing students, especially who are finishing their final year or who are studying and going to pursue as complete in the coming 1 or 2 years, this question is highly relevant. Whether it is higher studies, entrepreneurship, life abroad, innovation. In fact, I'll add to the confusion whether shall I take a job? Shall I take a job in government? Shall I take a job in research? Shall I take a job in academics? Shall I take a job in IT because it is paying more for me, irrespective of my discipline of mechanical engineering department? Yes, these things really cross our mind, and to a large extent, in spite of the support system we have, in spite of the guidance which we get from our parents and our well-wishers, certainly our mind will be too much of a wavering. Because on one hand, you want to earn as early as possible so that you don't become a burden for your parents. And at the same time, you want a better career. And when you see people with better qualifications, you feel that I want to do higher studies. Just let me take an example. In fact, when my father completed BSc, that was in 1948, people thought that he did his ultimate. I mean, he is something, he has attained his highest qualification. That is what people felt. But now you know what BSc means. Now, unless a person gets a PhD, I mean, is not recognized or he doesn't have many options. Same was true for engineering some time back. Once we do engineering means, I mean, what next means is job, immediately job, nothing more. But soon we realize that BE is not sufficient in the career, especially once you want to come up in the career and once you want to attain higher positions in whatever organization you are joining, whether it's where you want to become a general manager or you want to become a vice president or you want to become anything for that matter, you require qualifications because that adds value to the individual and adds value to the company where he is working. So people started pursuing higher studies. That is something good. In fact, when I completed my engineering in 1977, I was also in a similar dilemma. I was not really knowing what to do. My father was very particular that I couldn't pursue higher education at that point of time because of financial reasons. But I don't want same thing to happen for you. You please go and join higher studies immediately. And but my mind was, I know what my family's financial situation was. So I want to earn as early as possible and reduce the burden on my parents. But he was firm. So I went and joined MTech in IIT Kharagpur. Of course, immediately I got a appointment in Department of Atomic Energy. Then I went and asked the head of the department where I joined, sir, I got an appointment in Department of Atomic Energy. Shall I pursue my MTech or shall I go and join the job? They told, you got the job in Atomic Energy department. You should be some super intelligent person. They don't, normally people don't get, forget about MTech. You can do MTech at any point of time in your life. You please go and join. I gave a ring to my father and told this is what it is. He told no, and finally told choice is yours. And of course, I left MTech and came and joined BRC or the Atomic Energy Department. Well, of course, career took a different turn, and as such, there are no regrets. But that feeling that I had to do higher studies was always there from the very beginning. In the very beginning of my career, because we had to go outside for doing this thing, people were not ready to give sabbatical. There is nothing like a sabbatical in research organization. They don't want to give leave also. And I was not in sound footing financially to take leave without pay for such a long period. But at a later point of time, I could do my PhD and I'm well, I could do whatever my support system permits. Well, now if you look at the current generation, they look at they want to pursue their higher education not in India but abroad. Well, and the parents are a little worried. Obviously, at the age of 21, 22, they don't want to send them abroad. And also, of late, the families have become very nuclear. And they're more or less pretty sure that if the fellow goes to abroad, he may not come back and he will continue there. And what do we do here? So they give a different direction, though they know pretty well that going abroad and pursuing higher education in one of the reputed universities is something good for his son or daughter. Well, entrepreneurship and startups have come up late in those. In our days, there is nothing like that. But if you look at the history of Mr. Narayan Murthy, though in those days they never call it a startup or entrepreneurship, 5 or 6 people have come together. I did read his biography, and they have put very peanuts of money. And today, you know what Infosys is all about, and what Mr. Narayan Murthy is all about. I have highest regards for him, for his hard work, and I did interact with him quite a good number of times, and I did travel with him. The simplicity with which he has, in spite of the fact that he has thousands of crores in whatever form he has. So certainly there is nothing like a person from our own college, from our own environment, who has succeeded in his career and who is holding a position in abroad, to advise our students on what to do next. In fact, I am also in many, maybe even in Kalpakam, many people, many parents do come to me and ask my advice, what do I do for my son or daughter? And I do give my advice depending on their various inputs which they give. But certainly I want to hear. Thank you, Mr. Lokesh Babu. You have chosen a very apt topic. And I'm sure all the students who are attending this particular lecture series are going to get benefited. And we are also keen to hear to you what you are going to say. And thank you, Professor Prabhu, for arranging such a beautiful alumni lecture series. This is a very good idea. As most of you know that we have conducted 110 plus lecture series or webinars in the last 3-4 months, thanks to Mr. Syed and Mr. Lakshmi Mohan. But this series is something different. And I'm sure, in artificial intelligence or machine learning or something, I can also talk, but This input I cannot give. I'm looking forward to Mr. Lokesh Babu's talk. I thank Professor Prabhu and all his department colleagues for inviting me for this particular validity situation. Thank you very much, and I wish all the best for all the students who are joining this particular lecture series. And please hear attentively to Mr. Lokesh Babu. If possible, take his email ID and be in touch with him. He will be able to add some more dimension to, in addition to what our own faculty will tell you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your most insightful and presidential address. Now let us hear a special address from a special and an humble person, Mr. Syed Mohammed, sir, the Director, International Relations of Naga Missions Research Foundation, is here to deliver the special address. Sir, please do the honors.
Thank you, Sandal. At the outset, I really want to thank Lokesh for participating in this meeting and provide his guidance to our young students. By the way, am I clearly audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So thanks, Lokesh, and really appreciate the gift that you have announced, right? Because it is the thought that counts, that you want to make people think and come out with some really good questions. It is the thought that counts and not the money. And I really appreciate the thought from you. And that could set us an example to all the enterprising students that you have today. And third, in the specifically to the alumni, I always try to jump in and join because it also takes me back to my school days or college days and all that. And in fact, last year, I studied in one of the school which is the oldest actually. It is called Vestry High School in Trichy, which is 250 years old actually. The school was established by Robert Clive when he come to set up the British in India. So 250 years, and I passed out of my school in 1975. So I think you can compute my age, what I am right now. But still, we continue to go there early every year and try to celebrate that. So I think it really brings in back a lot of nice memories from your sort of very nostalgic memories that brings you in, and also connects you with the ladder that really sort of made you scale up through the challenging days of students and then to whatever position you are in here now. So I think unfortunately today quite a lot of people I know have really forgotten their schools and universities, but and I really thank Lokesh, though having passed out in 2006 and about 15 years back, that he still continues to be connected with the people and with the professors. And one thing I would also like to really assure you here, I've joined this university here in last November, hardly about 6 months. And I have about 36 years of IT experience. So I come with a very rich IT background and really working towards see how we could transform the way that education is being held right now, because it's coming from an IT industry. And I think Lokesh also being in here, he would also resonate in terms of the changes that is happening on the industry and really where the students need to really sort of scale themselves up. I think for the students that those are there on the call, this is one of the best opportunity, I think, to listen to clearly the challenges that Lokesh had gone through, because uh, being a country head and establishing a new business in Australia is not as simple. It's very difficult. So you'd have gone through the challenges. That's one. So his experience would be of really immense help. And the second is he's in an organization that is doing the latest and the greatest. You talk about artificial intelligence, you talk about analytics, you talk about robotic process automation. These are all the in things that the folks who are really wanting to graduate right now should be aware of. And all these are not sort of rocket sciences. All you need is a little bit of an applicability, spending about a couple of hours of your time daily to also gain enough knowledge in these areas so that next wherever you want to go in terms of either a higher education or a job, these would be the right things that they would be looking for. And in fact, they were talking about what next. When I was in the corporate, I used to do a lot of programs specifically for the final and the pre-final, and my presentation would be slightly differently named. It used to be called as the next steps, actually. So almost the same content, but in a different name. But again, they were also talking about the questions, right? What next? What next? And in fact, because of my age, I used to be a very good fan of MGR. And in one of his movies, the best song would be "Yen Endra Kelvi Indru Ketkamal Aatkelile." So the more you ask yen, what, why, and that will enable you to sort of learn and keep growing up. Because in today's world, it's become so dynamic that you need to keep running to be on the same place. If you do not run and keep on learning till the last, you're going to be history. Like when I went through my complete corporate career, all I knew was about 3 or 4 languages. I know a little bit of basic COBOL, DBase, and that's it. And I survived 6 years of IT. But right now, every 2 years it's completely trashed, right? You could see it on the mobile revolution, revolution. So I would also encourage students to be on the top. But I think people are waiting for Lokesh to share his experience, and I would not take too much time. But Lokesh, personally, I would also like to get connected with you, because I think there are a lot of things that we could do together, but which could be mutually beneficial. And through Prabhu, maybe we'll set up a different call and see how we'll take it through. And thanks, Prabhu sir, for all this, the 1 week of excellent webinars that you had, and also the grand finale with having Lokesh as the keynote. Thank you, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for delivering your
Thank you,
special
sir.
address. Thank you, sir. It's always pleasure in introducing our alumni guests and his profile to you all. To do this pleasureful task, let me invite the senior faculty member from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Professor Dr. M. Prabhakar. Sir, please introduce the alumni guest of the day today to the gathering session.
Thanks, Anil. I feel really proud and profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day. He is none other than Mr. Lokesh. At present, he is working in Optimal Solutions Singapore, one of the number one organizations of the current era. He is a country head for Australia and New Zealand, and instrumental in setting up the business and operation in this region. In parallel, he is pursuing his second Master's in Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University of Adelaide. Prior to his stint in Australia, he was the regional head Asia Pacific for 7+ years. Under his able leadership, more than 40+ IT data analytical projects were rolled out for the clients of banking and financial sectors across the country like Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. Lokesh holds an MBA majoring in IT and marketing and was a software engineer before. He dedicated his growth and achievements to his bachelor's time, that is BE Mechanical, at AVIT 2002 to 2006. Lokesh believes in early nurturing of leadership and proud to have it during his time in AVIT. I request that participants to make use of his expertise by interacting frequently with him, because he encouraged that kind of interaction among the participants. With this few words, I hand over the session to Senthil. Thanks.
Thanks, Prabhakar sir, for giving us this interesting profile. Now it's time to listen from our alumni, Mr. Lokesh Babu, country head, Australia, Optimum Solutions, Singapore. Dear students, I have a small information that was informed earlier by our Prabhu sir. Our alumni guest, Mr. Lokesh Babu, has announced a cash prize of ₹6,000 for the attentive students during the session. First prize of ₹3,000, second prize of ₹2,000, and third prize of ₹1,000. So an online assessment will be carried out during the session itself. So please be attentive, stay tuned, gain the knowledge, and win the prizes. Sir, Mr. Lokesh sir, please share the screen and share your expertise among the fellow juniors.
A very warm good afternoon for everyone out there. Well, it's pretty nice out here in Australia, but I'm quite glad to see a very sunny thing because it's winter out here. So you can see all I'm warmed up and things. It's nice to see everyone having a nice, lovely sun, which I don't have a chance to get to see that. Couple of things. Yes, I definitely want to thank Prabhu sir as the first person, because of him, all things started to happen. And when good things starts happening, I'm sure a lot of other hands will come in play to help each other. So that way, I think I definitely want to thank Mr. Satyamurthy sir. Thanks for sharing your experience. And looking at you, sort of, I can connect a lot of things with what you just said for us. And we will look forward to see what we can do offline for this. And definitely, Mr. Syed, looks like you also have a lot of IT experience. And as you rightly said, I put myself in this position of being always in a sort of, in a mysterious threat or whatever. I don't like comfort zones. Comfort zones bore me. Self in the spot to get a kick out of it. And so far, so good. It has been serving well. And I think definitely I'll continue doing that. And definitely I want to like to thank Mr. Prabhakar for his speech, and Senthil, who has been really helping me and coordinating, and Mr. Satiraj. So these guys have really been helping me to put things together. And obviously, how can I not say thanks to my own good friend, Madan? I think Madan and me, we go back like probably 16, actually more than 20 years, right? Like we started knowing each other from 2002. So we probably like, yeah, we actually know each other for a lot of our times in our life. And yeah, instead of me boring you all with my things, let us jump into something exciting and start this rolling. Can I just have a share so someone just say that you can see what I'm seeing?
Yeah, we can see the first thing, I think, the first slide.
But you can go for slideshow, no? With a lot of...
Is this better?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, I think the speech of the hour is what's next. I think I'll start introducing myself again and then start telling you what's my story all about. And oops, yeah. Well, I think this is what probably most of us know, and I don't think so it's really justified to start saying all these things. I rather want to connect with everybody who's in this chat session. So I thought I'll quickly, let us all travel to a time back zone where, well, I started doing my engineering, so that you can connect with me better. So I wanted to go a time travel lane. So this is me and a couple of my batchmates in 2006. And probably that is something which most of us in the call would connect today. And you can see the canteen, you can see some trees, some students, bags, books. And there's always a smile in everyone's face. How much ever we all see what's going to happen next, there's always a smile which all is there at that point of time. And obviously, this is me in 2006, just one of few guys who had a few years back. I was worried, like even make it through, unsure about a lot of things. And I don't know how many people of you sort of know what is Shilpa canteen, tea. Of course, yeah, tea with biscuits and stuff. Your Kelambakam rides or Mahabalipuram rides, my bikes. And those are days where most of us are currently at this point of time, right? Like figuring out what to do next and handling the peer pressure of people, daydreaming that one fine day I will get into a core job or in the company which I desire, and buy a dream car or a dream bike. These are the thoughts which is going on at most of your people's head at this point of time. But what was the one thing which I had, and I really want to give that as a credit to my success, is from there, I never fear to fail. And I'll say it openly again, I never fear to fail. I don't really allow people's judgment to pass on me. So I am the own judge of myself. So that is what actually puts me a different path. And well, this is me after 15 years of time. Pretty much most of things people have spoken about. So I just will speak about a little bit about the organization who I work for. Optimal Solution is probably one of the largest organizations in Singapore because of the size what they function. There are more than 2,500 to 600 employees in Singapore. That's not even best of size of any of your Oracle or IBM or top companies. And the reason why it is so massive is because they focus on that particular region and they know most of them in that space. And it's just a privilege for me to work in such an organization, to come across many, many customers and many, many people. The journey was very warm and thrilling, actually. And there was a point where I have to travel to almost like 4 different countries in a month, and it was very exhaustive. Initially, I was very happy, and going forward, I want to tell that it's just my story of seeing the way the life is actually spun out. One of the things which actually they say that if you see something in the early stage of your life, you have to nurture it. And we all were like the first day of our our mechanical engineering class, and there were hardly new faces, new people all around us. First day, few, and your college first days, and you are very nervous about a lot of things. At that point of time, someone asked me who wants to be a class representative, right? And I think a few of us were like looking at each other. What do you really mean by that? But something told me that maybe I can represent everyone. Maybe I can speak on behalf of everyone. So I just randomly said, hey, I can be that person. So that is the sort of thing which is still burning inside me, is that I'd never, fear to fail. It's like, even if I'm not a successful class representative, it's fine. I learn from it. But I never want to shy back and say, no, I think what will people think about me? Will they judge me? And things of that is something which I never have in my head. And I think it has relatively served me very well, actually. Well, I want to keep this slides and things very clean and simple, because I believe that not more than 10 advices can get into someone's human brain. So how much ever I can speak all night, there are probably like 10 things which is going to probably get into each of your heads. So I rather want to use this opportunity as more of a, Sundaresan has something. Okay, well, I'll come back to Sundaresan. So I rather have more of a seed things, so that you get to know a few things which I'm talking about this presentation. And then when you are in your own time, you can do a little retrospective thoughts about that guy said something on the presentation. And from there, you can actually start your journey. I think that is where I think I'm leading this presentation all about. So how about let's start. Oops. Yeah, these are things which I want to think. Probably I have not yet started the Metimeter thing. So it is just on the parallel. So probably once I ask you to, then probably you can log in. I just want you to know the web link and the PIN number for that. It'll be nice if you guys can have 2 devices. If I were you, probably I'll be watching this presentation on a laptop, and then probably use my phone for the quiz. It's easier that way. But again, being said that, I will leave to your choices to figure out how do you want to play this out. So why did I even do this? It's not about the money, as Mr. Syed rightly put it across. It's to give you people a sense of how do you say that? Sense of thinking that even a just focus of some conversation of 30, 40 minutes can get me something, a value out of it. It could be monetary, it could be logical, it could be of any experiential things. So I wanted this to be a part of that, and I wish every one of you all the best. And it's a fastest finger thing. So the moment you see the answer, you got to tap on it, and the fastest guy will get the first prize. And we'll have a leadership board to see how many questions are there and who is doing what in the process. Now we will go from our quiz to, okay, this is a very hard subject. I was barely good at engineering mathematics. How many of you have a nightmare of engineering mathematics? You can do a hands raise. I can see from the chat. Okay, Jevin. Oh my God, Thomas. Trust me, that's a good sign, because I too had it, and I can tell you from my experience that in the batch of our batch, like we had like 73 people, we had it. Like everybody had stigma towards that. So that's why I'm going to teach you about Venn diagram. Oh, looks like a lot of people are not very happy of me talking about mathematics. All right. I was just playing the fool with you guys. I actually want to show you a small video. And before showing that video, I just want to show you something about Venn diagrams. So before I start playing, I just want someone to erase it if you can't listen to what is this video playing. So this is basically someone who's sort of explaining the career choices by small Venn diagram things. So let's see if you can listen to this.
Venn diagrams are perfect for explaining my career path.
Yeah.
Venn diagrams are perfect for explaining.
Is anyone is able to hear this?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, it's audible.
Okay, brilliant. Then we'll get going with this.
Venn diagrams are perfect for explaining my career path. I'm one of the few comics working in Venn diagrams. So the reason I became an engineer was because of two things. I was good at two things. I had math skills and I was good at problem solving. And when you're good at those two things, no guidance counselor ever says you should be a comedian. They would be fired. But they said you should be an engineer, so I went and became an engineer. Makes perfect sense, right? Over here, if you got people skills, you're good with people, and you're good at problem solving, you're probably going to go into management, right? Over here, if you got OCD, everything has to be exactly right. And you're good at math, you are an accountant, is what you are. They the accountants were high-fiving over there. I've never seen an accountant high-five. Yes, he got us right. That joke adds up perfectly. That is accountants, though. They can't solve any problems, but they can identify them. That's an accountant. An accountant will go, you got to fix this. Over here, if you're into drinking and you have people skills, you're in sales, is what you are. That's always the loudest yell. Without fail, they will the loudest. Over here, if you're heartless and you have OCD, you're in human resources. No heart whatsoever. And if you're heartless and into drinking, you're a lawyer. And if you're all those things, you are a comedian.
Well, that was just to pull you all to make understands what is Venn diagram. And this is something which is very close to my heart. And the reason why I accepted to speak to everybody of this is how do we do this? Like, what's next is a very easy question. Like, but how do I answer this question? Where do I start all of this? There is a research about this by Akiro Hanaswaka from Japan. It's called Akai, or actually I'm not pronouncing correctly. Pardon my Japanese things. It's Ikigai. So Ikigai, not really translate the meaning. It's like a reason for being. So most of us just do things for no rhyme or reason and say that I like to do this. For example, I start like when I was in your part of life where I was young, I really liked about automobiles. That's why I took mechanical engineering. But being said that, do I really want to work there? I mean, that's a question I never answered to myself. And it's not even like I was afraid to answer that question. I just didn't want to myself to answer that question. So what I'm going to talk about today in this particular slide is that I want each one of you to find a reason for your being. And I want each one of you to use this framework so that you can start your life at much a better way. Or else what you can do is you can be like me. I started doing mechanical engineering. Then I sort of thought maybe I was not, good at it. And then I tried myself being a developer. I was a very, very mediocre developer there. People around me were so fast, like things what I will do for 3-4 days, they did it in like less than a day. And then probably I failed being a developer. Then I said, look, there have to be something else. Then this particular Ikigai came into my life. And I did a little retrospective on what do I love to do? And what do the world needs at this point of time? And obviously, if I'm going to do all these things, I'll have to be paid for that. So someone has to pay for that. So what can be that? And if you have to do all these things, you've got to be good at this. This is the most important things which a lot of us miss. We just do because we like to do. We don't even realize that, are we really good at that? Because if you're not good at something, and if you just do it for the sake of doing it, you will definitely not end up being the best of best. You will still survive. You will have a very mediocre life in your life. You can place this particular framework on any successful person in today's context, and you can see that they're actually in the perfect middle spot of Ikigai. I think most of us know the Chennai Super Kings captain Dhoni. You can probably look at the same thing. Dhoni loves playing cricket. He just loves it. Is he good at it? I think one of the best cricketer the country has produced. He's the best at it. And of course, you all know that, BCCI pays everybody very well. So the pay is taken care. What the world needs, of course, we need a very, very good cricketer to ensure, and he's the second, captain to get us the World Cup. So you can see that all these things are actually a culmination of one particular thing, and that's the reason why he's able to be. These are not the average performers; these are the extraordinary performers in life. So I started doing this. What do I do? Like what I love to do. I realize I like to talk to people. I like to solve problems to people, and of course, if you just go back to a couple of slides back, what are the comedian was showing the Venn diagrams? I sort of liked most of the things. So that is what I actually started slowly. I'm not saying I'm in the perfect Ikigai. I'm still exploring. See, that's the good process, because when you're 10 years old, if you ask me, I would have told I want to be a teacher. But as again, I went in somewhere in that early teen-ish. Then I said, no, I think I want to be a racer. I like the motorbike and F1 races. And then slowly, when I passed out my engineering, I had different things. So this curve is an unfolding curve, and I still use it for my own purpose. So if you have to take one thing away from this presentation, is this. I want every one of you to take a very good note of this. You can always Google it, find it, read about it a little bit. But I want you to take away this particular thing. Because if you can find, obviously you will not find an answer overnight for these questions. It takes time. For example, the simplest thing is, what do you love? Probably take a piece of paper or an Excel sheet and start putting down things which is like, I love to travel. I love to probably swim. I love to do this. I love to do that. So put a very, very exhaustive list. When I say exhaustive, you have to get tired of doing that. I have taken weeks, sometimes months to do this exercise. So don't expect yourself to come with an answer on the overnight. So first find out what you actually love. Then comes what you are good at. Well, most of us will probably not agree to that fact. You know what? Just ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your friends, ask Prabhu sir for that matter. Just walk to him on one fine day and say, Prabhu sir, you know what? Tell me, what am I good at? I remember he told me that when I was studying. He told me, you know what, Lokesh? You're pretty good in talking to people out. And I'm sure you're going to do something with respect to your mouth. Well, it served my purpose today. The only job I do is talk. I only talk to people and get things. I don't really work. I only get work done. So I was good at that. And I sort of love traveling, going to other places. And of course, IT is a very good paymaster these days. Everybody knows that. And do the world needs that? Of course we will. So I'm sort of here in Ikigai. And that is what is driving me. If you take something, for example, you want to be a singer. That's what you love to be. But you're an awful singer. Nobody really likes what you're singing. Then you're in a problem. Because nobody really appreciates that. Does the world need a singer? Yeah, of course we need it. Do we get paid? Sort of. But not everybody gets paid. So everybody aspire to be in this Ikigai is my request actually. So did everybody get what I was trying to talk? Just give me a high rising hand so that I know that you're all with me. Okay, 3. I'm sure there'll be a stage where you will probably hit a roadblock in finding out your Ikigai. I'm like, dude, that guy just said something I can't really figure out. Your faculty, a lot of these people will really help you to understand what you're good at actually. And the external things where your friends, your families, your placement officers, these are the people who will give you a lot of information about what you can be paid for, and what do the world needs? Things like these questions are something which can be of a good starting point. So I would be really anticipating a lot of questions from most of you on Ikigai, actually. So now that I have spoken about Ikigai, I think it's time to go on some quiz. Yep. I will just pause it for a second so that I don't want you to see the answers, obviously, right? Yeah. So I assume nobody can see me. Is it correct?
You are visible only.
Oh my God, can you see my screen? No, right? I paused my screen.
No.
Okay, I think slowly the participants are starting to add. There are 32. Come on, guys. We are close to 60, more than 100 people, right? $33. Oops.
What is the question? That is not
well, I
visible to
think
us.
I have to only reveal it once people start getting into that. So that
Okay.
because you will not get time to answer that. I'll just give another few more seconds and then probably I will burst it. Ten, 9, 8. I'll actually be very generous. It's okay. Sometimes these kind of things, it's pretty pissing off, right, for everyone. Let this keep happening, then I'll probably just continue talking. In the meanwhile, I think probably just narrate it one more time so that so meanwhile, you guys out, I just want to like repeat one more step myself. In this, we can see that there is passion, there is mission, there's vocation, there's profession, so on and so forth. Even when I was young, I used to get confused. What's passion? I always thought passion is something which sort of, I love to do sort of things. But then as per this framework, I realized that if you're good at something and you love something, that is what real passion is. Because that two combinations will set you to glory. Even if the world doesn't need you, you can create a market for that. Even if you don't have a good pay, you can always create a market and a premium for you. But one is the thing which you can't probably do is that you have to be good at it. So how can be someone good at it? It's plain and simple. You got to work very hard, gather information, talk to people. So for instance, if you have to give me a small thumb rule, if you have to say that, Lokesh, my favorite subject is, that's what I love to do is about, let's say, automobiles. You have to know at least 100 people in that industry. You have to know what they do for a living. You have to know what is their size of work, what they're doing, because that's what will make you to understand the whole scope of it. Or else you're just on the flat surface side to understand, oh, I just like this car, so I'm actually loving automobiles. So do your research, do these things at a very deeper space, actually. So let me one more time repeat. What you love and what you're good at is passion. What you love and what the world needs has to be your mission. what you can be paid for and what the world needs is vocation. And what you're good at and what can be paid for is your profession. Now it's time for the quiz. Sorry guys, I've been really making everybody a little uncomfortable. Just bear with me for a second. I can't see why is this particular screen not coming down. Okay, we have 51 people. Can you see the screen?
Visible.
Okay, then I'll probably go for it. Oh, I can see fast fingers. Just take a guess sometimes. It's okay. All right, time's up. So the right answer, okay, let's see who is on the leadership board now. Okay. Sankruta, you can wave. Sarath, Dino, Akshay, you guys are pretty close. All right, we will keep rolling this probably, and I want to like just get going with the presentation so that we will come back to this a little later. Is it okay, guys?
Yes, you can proceed.
Yeah. So now, obviously, we have little spoken about how we can achieve all these things. So you can probably take the help of Ikigai and probably start channelizing what you have to do actually. So I'm sure when you come down to that spot, you will probably have three options in front of you. Whether should I work, or probably I'll pursue something to study now in India or outside India. Or how about me not doing both and probably start something of my own, or take up some of my family business, or start something on my own. So these are options which you probably have in front of you. And that's like, what is next? What actually? And let's get a little detail of these things. So my first question to you is like, the current situation as per is that there's only 10% of unemployment rate with youth, which means in a class of 100 guys, 90% of the guys are getting a job. The remaining 10 probably will figure out something, and they may take a little more time. So if someone in this room is going to be really scared of, will I get a job? Will I not get a job? I think that is not the point at all. The point is, and another one more myth I think I want to probably disbar here is that before I started my journey as a software engineer, my last internship was with actually Hyundai Motor. My final year project was with Hyundai Motor. And posted, I was there with them for 3 to 4 months as a trainee engineer. Do that experience really relevant? In a real scenario, when I'm hiring people, for most of the hiring managers, they don't really expect you to have a sequential work relevant. You can start anything. You can start working for an electrical company, work for 6 years or 6 months, and then say, you know what, I tried this. And a lot of companies these days appreciate your honesty, saying that, look, I tried something. It probably didn't make me feel good, and I'm changing this. And when you do that, it really shows that you have traveled your places. So I started something differently. Then I landed up in IT. And then I said, no, I can't code anymore. I want to do a management in IT. Even then I said, no, it's done. I want something more. Then I said, let me start being more in the entrepreneurship. So the journey is something which you have to go through. And for that, I think the better way to start is whether you want to do a job. My suggestion is just do any job. Don't, for people who are focusing on, I will do a core job, I will do a core design CAD job. That's very good. You have to pursue that, but you have to give a time for that. Like, let's say 2 months or 3 months. If it is not working, then you have to quickly jump to something else and figure it out. Trust me, life always has a plan for it. It will always pan out. Pan out for me, pan out for Madan, pan out for everybody in this room who is not a student at this point. So it just takes that initial, never fail to, never be fair to fail. Just take it, it'll happen in its own due course. So that's few stats for you guys. And there's one book which had a lot of influence in me, and I think it should also have an influence in you, that today the world is pretty much flat. I mean, I know the recent news are not very probably supporting to my statement, and probably let's keep the politics and other things for someone else who's doing a very good money of that. Let's keep it very simple here. So I'm not saying get out of your country or get out of do something. All I'm saying is that it depends on what is your ikigai is telling you. If you think your journey demands you to travel places, you have to do that. So the question of this, it doesn't come from your own thought process. It comes from something else. So this is one interesting book which I came across and I want to share with you today. It's The World is Flat by Thomas Friedman. So one of these interesting things he mentioned in this book is that to manufacture a Dell laptop, not now, probably a few years back, it requires more than 35 countries coordination. So your chips come from somewhere, your keyboard is coming from somewhere, your assembly happens somewhere, your branding happens somewhere. So to get a laptop of a Dell, you need 35 countries collaboration. So the world is actually flat. So if someone is not opening their eye to that, then I think in this age, it will be, I won't say a shame, but I'll definitely say it's beyond your thing. So that is one thing which I wanted to talk about when you're considering whether you want to go to India. Definitely getting outside the country will help you to meet a lot of people who will have a huge influence on you in your life, different culture. I had that impact completely when I went through all this process and still going through this. That is something which I want everybody to enjoy and experience that. Make more friends, make more things, food, culture, things of that sort. And eventually you will also understand that is not something which is very difficult to do. It's part of your process. You will learn how to build a home away from home. I have done that. And if I can, I'm sure everybody can. But just that there is a little hesitance from people, what will happen, what will not happen. So I want you to all keep that part away and try to focus on mostly I would probably, if you ask me what Lokesh we should do right after this degree or outcome, just land up in a job. The moment you land up in a job, your confidence goes skyrocket overnight. The moment you have a paycheck in front of you, your experience of everything gets clearly much more better. But that should not overcloud your judgment. That is where your thought process begins. Now that I am having some social recognition in this society, I'm going for work, I have a paycheck. Now what should I do? I started my thing as a CAD designer, but this is not something which I wanted. I wanted to go something else. I wanted to probably work for an automobile company. So you can still keep applying. Trust me, these days, if a Coca-Cola can sell something which is worth of 10 cents to 10 rupees to people, it's just power of marketing. It's just the power of spinning things. It's just the power of how you portray your story. So if you tell someone, Lokesh, I started this path, but I quickly realized this is of not my interest. So I made a change. I made a shift. A lot of people respect that. And that's actually the truth part. Not everybody got here. Like I didn't get here on a day one. I had my struggles. I had my ups and downs. So without that, nobody gets it. So out of all the three options, I think I would definitely recommend everybody to start at least looking for a work. Oops, looks like we have another question quickly. That's good. Okay, guys, be ready because I'm gonna tap the next question. Just press a wave or a hi to me so that I know most of you are on the page. Can you see this leadership board slide? Okay. Then the second question to you comes now. Oh, this is pretty easy. 10 guys have already answered it. That's pretty fast. Don't wait for it, just click it. Let me see who's the one who's leading up now. The path is flat. Okay, someone has taken that. Ooh. Sankruta, Dinu, that's pretty fast. Muni, Nagpushnam, Gokul. Guys, the fastest fingers actually gets you most time. So next time, just tap it. Just don't hesitate. Don't think too much. All right, let me get back to the slides again. Okay, this is a lot of speaks about higher studies, right? So first of all, why do you want to do higher studies? If you ask me, you just graduated out of a college, right? You just studied something for 4 years. Where is your thought process on how much did you learn and how much did you even put it into use? Like you're not even testing the waters. But there are different school of thoughts in that. Few people might think, no, I want to learn something, which is probably my answer, is go for it. But my sincere answer would be work for some time and see how life takes it, and then decide for yourself. Because there's a lot of time, I know a lot of friends of mine who have just did MBA right after your engineering, and then these days, if a lot of companies know that, why did you actually do that mistake? It's actually you didn't want to, you didn't get a job probably, and you didn't want to sort of escape from that and just join an MBA quickly. That's it. So many colleges out there. Just click something and get into an MBA, and you save yourself from embarrassment of not getting a job. But trust me, it is really bad, because if you don't know what you're good at, and if you choose an MBA, you have not even worked in an organization for 1 day. You don't know what are the different departments in an organization. Because a lot of technologies, like when I was doing my MBA, there are a lot of people who came from the same background, but they said, you know what, I like HR. Okay, maybe because they heard about them, because they've worked with them in the past. So now today, a lot of information, what you are taking is from others. None of it is of your own experience. I wanted you all to experience that first, and then take up higher studies, because these days, top universities expect you to have at least 5 years of work experience before your MBA. Let me repeat it again. These days, they expect you at least to have 5 years of work experience. Why is that? Like, dude, I can't even get a job at this point of time. You're talking about 5 years. They don't really expect you to have a relevant 5 years. Trust me, nobody is expecting relevant experience at any point of time. If you can sell it, okay. Alvin, George, I'll get back to you, George. See, these are things I'm saying about my experience, and there are universities which will accept you for no experience. But I'm trying to tell you that I'm doing my second master's, and there's a reason why I'm doing it in, again, business. So I did my MBA, and now I'm doing master's in entrepreneurship. So clearly, I'm not someone who wants to waste his money and time, but I can tell you that when I'm in the class, I can appreciate what something is being taught to me, because I've experienced all of that in my work experience. But if you have someone who's not experienced or any of that, you will come across as someone who's a very mediocre sort of a person. But there are some brightening sparks. I would not try to take off the 10%. I'm only speaking about the majority of the persons, actually. So to get back to where I started, you got to diversify or stick to your core. That is something which your journey, your ikigai will probably guide you. Should I do an ME or should I do an MBA? Should I do right now, or probably give me some space of a year or two and then take up that program? Because okay, a lot of guys are answering Okay, I'll talk to you guys. Just hang in there. Yeah. So that is something which is my own experience, and whoever I've come across, I've seen that they have been very well when they're doing when you have a certain amount of experience. I'm saying 5. You don't have to give yourself 5. Probably you can give yourself 1 or 2, because even if you have to apply to most of the universities in the abroad, there is something what you have to write. I think yesterday most of you sort of seen what Haripriya was saying. It's like SOP or whatever it is. It's much better to tell them the truth that I want to do a master's in this particular thing because I've been working on it. And while I was working, I figured out this is my interest. So the authenticity of what you have saying improvises 10-15% more. And the moment you know that your experience in something, it could be not relevant. That's exactly what I'm saying. It need not be relevant. If a mechanical engineering like me can start and run a startup thing and be the head of a region for an organization, that tells you what diversity is that. So you can always pick up anything at any point of time. There's no timetable which like everybody starts passing out from 11th to 10th to 12th. No, that's all done. From now on, you take your own story. And most of the students, when I interview for them in post-MBA things, I somewhere find out they're not able to accept the reality that, yes, I'm not able to get a job. So probably just to avoid that, I want to do a master's as a cover-up so that I can. Please don't do that mistake. Never, ever. Unless and until you're convincing yourself, because it's a huge responsibility, the loans and so on and so forth, I would definitely not recommend people to just take it off. You rather want, as even Mr. Satyamurthy said, that these days parents are also they want to keep you with yourself, but you can always come back, right? Nobody, I know a lot of people who have gone back because the options and India is much more booming than other part of the world actually. And while you are choosing your higher studies, if it is abroad, so there are a couple of countries who have certain pathways to be a permanent resident or a citizen for that country. And I want to speak about this because it really matters a lot. Because if you're going to go to study somewhere and tomorrow you decide to sort of stay there for a while or build a career, build a path for your life, then you got to have certain amount of advantages to be there. And studying there in a country really helps you to get that through. So a lot of people have been taking advantage of that particular opportunities. And this point of time, I think Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and a couple of European countries are actually helping you with a lot of visa process. So I'm not going to go and tell you, come to Canada or go to Australia, because these days, excuse me, I'll just take a water. These days you have, or I can point you to a lot of these organizations who help students. But in my experience, the challenge is they are having their own agendas in middle of that to promote you. So you walk in without completely unpreparedness, there's a high probability that things can actually be sold to you, which may not be the things which you want. So unless until you figure out what you actually want, I think don't expect others to tell you that, because that's the most brutal thing you can do it for yourself. At least that you can agree with me, guys, who raised the question. You can point out some wave highs. It's nice to see that I'm not talking to a screen. Yeah, thanks Priyadashni, thanks Krishna, thanks guys. So just to summarize this, first figure out what you want to do, whether you want to go into your course or diversify. I was just playing with my own self. When I say this thing, I started being in core. For various reasons, I didn't probably enjoy it. Then I tried being something else. Then I again kept on trying something else. So my journey is different. But you'll be so smart, you can probably figure out all these things, even the start of it. So don't miss out this opportunity. That should tell you whether you want to go in core or diversify. And I never, I think one of the biggest challenges these days, most of you all have, is the social media's influence on everybody. Like you are connected to everyone whom you have sort of met, said hi in your life. So there's a huge pressure on everybody that you got to perform. But actually speaking, if you take me, I'm probably in 37. I'm the second guy. I think most of us in my engineering department, they all got married, they are having 2 children, and so on and so forth. Their life is different. My life is different. I chose this path because I like it. And I think I will probably get married someday, but I wanted you to not stop judging yourself what others will say, because in deciding whether you want to work, higher studies, entrepreneurship, I see a lot of influence of social pressure on you guys. If someone cannot accept you, I think there's no point in having their opinion on you. So you rather choose quality over quantity. That's my simple assessment of these all things. And let me quickly go on. Oops, we have another quiz. That's lovely. Let's see who is getting this time. Can you see, guys? Okay.
Yes.
All right, time's up. And let me see. Yep. Okay, but this question I was trying to say about not your own things. So people who got it wrong, I never meant to be offensive on their opinion. It is just that it is my experience, and I'm trying to tell you from my experience and what most of the universities these days are saying. So don't take it really personal on these things. Okay, it's time to see who's the leaderboard. Sorry, guys. Okay, we have leadership being held by Sankrutha, Muni, Nagappa. Very good, guys. I think I want most of us to just be more quicker, and I think you can still beat all these people. You just have to answer 2 more questions just before them, and you can always get into that. All right, we are back to this. Okay, this is a very, very interesting topic, and something which is very close to my heart, because I spend really a lot of time in this particular thing. So most of us know what is entrepreneurship and a lot of other things. So I will probably want to see the new things which is probably you have not come across. If you have come across, that's fantastic. So as per the statistics of a lot of things, they say that 90% of the startups fail. And I can tell you, I've seen at least more than that in my experience. But why is that startup fail? And again, this is not to demotivate you to say that you don't start anything. That is not my point. The point is, it is risky. So as the rewards. So which means you got to put a lot of effort and time in figuring out what it is to take an entrepreneurship venture to be successful. And that is something which I'm sure you'll figure out. You have help, and I'm sure we'll speak about that in a few other things. This point of time, I want to touch about something called social entrepreneurship, because I got a stage to speak about that. And this is something which not many of us had an opportunity while we are studying, is that I think there's a common prevalence thing that when you are doing something good for the community, you are not supposed to be benefited out of it, and it's supposed to be a social service. But nobody's asking the quality of work. For example, if I want to help something and someone, and I'm going and helping, but it's good. Let's say I'm teaching some 10th standard students mathematics who are unprivileged. But am I really qualified to do that? Like, I'm doing it because I can, but what if someone really qualified can still do that and we still get that benefit? So social entrepreneurship is all about recognizing your social problems by a social change, by employing your entrepreneurial skills and operations, and you really solve that particular problem. If you're still not getting what I'm saying, how about let's see an example and probably you'll get a hang of it. There is this portal, these guys are into this business. It's basically thank you. They give you a lot of products and everything. They don't take any profit. All their profits go towards a lot of, okay. A lot of these people's, the profit of these organizations don't come into the pocket of the investors. The whole objective of having a social entrepreneurship that you hire good quality people so that you make a lot of more money for this particular e-portal. And then with that money, you actually help more people. So why are you compromising on the quality of a deliverable just because it is social? I mean, social has to be the most important thing. And why are we compromising just because we don't have money? So I think that solves the whole purpose of social entrepreneurship. So this is something which this is an Australian-based company, and I buy most of my products from them. They're relatively good than the competitors. But what the good thing is, every single product which I buy from them, there is someone who's getting water, someone is getting hospital help. And when you buy a product, there's a code behind that. And when you go and check it in the website, in the thank you portal, it really helps. So if people, it is not that you have to start up something just to make yourself a millionaire or billionaire. If you are so passionate about serving your country, if that is your ikigai, if that gives you everything, then you should really consider the social entrepreneurship as a thing. It is not very prevalent in India from whatever I've spoken and known. It is, but this is very, very happening in most of the Scandinavian countries and other part of the world. You can go online, help yourself with a lot of this thing. See, there are good things about social entrepreneurship, right? You get money. You can instead of being an investor, you can be an employee and be judicial about what is your salary, and you can still work in that particular thing. And I think that's a brilliant idea. And I think this is something which I actually wanted to do in my later part of my life. So probably when we are going to have a talk like this next time, or maybe after 5-10 years, I think I really want to have social entrepreneurship as one of the key components in those things, actually. Am I really making sense, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Yeah. Okay. Then comes my favorite thing called entrepreneur, because that's exactly what I'm doing. And statistically, it says that there's an 80% chance for an organization to be successful if it is a corporate venture. But again, it's a little conflicting, right? Like you want to be your own player, and this particular corporate venture, like how does it really go? So, for instance, 4 years back, I walked to my board of directors and said, I want to do something, but I don't have the money because I can't go and start up a company in Australia. It'll involve a lot of money. But obviously, he's telling them, hire 200 people here, let me start a big bang approach. That will also fail. So I told to them, look, give me a very small fund, a fund of less than $2 million. Let me venture out. Let me go there. Let me try test the waters. If I fail, it's all on me. I will work for you and ensure that that particular thing is deficit. So there's a proposition I put across to the table with a lot of statistical data of why we should venture into another region. So this is called intrapreneur or corporate venturing. So someone who is inside the organization can start up a company, which is part of the company. And today, if you see the most successful companies like your Apple, your Google, everything is all about corporate ventures, right? Suddenly someone comes and say, hey, you know what, I have this cool idea of having Google Photos. Can we make this a platform to run it? Of course, yes. So that's a product as a business of its own. So every successful organization today, if you see a pattern, it's all about entrepreneurship. So for people who think that oh my God, if I start working, then which means I'm letting my dreams of being an entrepreneur. No, you're not actually. It's your choice. So you can always come back to the mainstream and say that I have a proposition. Today, a lot of this organization, I think I can speak about Intel, I can speak about, I think many organizations these days have a separate time for each of these employee to showcase that they are actually not just doing their own project, but they're actually doing something else. If I'm not wrong, Google is doing it for 25%, if I'm not wrong. Maybe you can check the facts on the internet, guys, but it doesn't even give a little drift about what I'm saying. Like, you can still be part of this. You will get a lot of money because it's a proposition, it's a proposal. So obviously today, if this venture really successfully ventures out, obviously I'll be more benefited. The advantage of being an entrepreneur, intrapreneur, is that there are live customers. So we were actually doing a project for a bank in Singapore. The moment the same bank is also there in Australia, it was very easy for me to convince, because you have a ready customer right in front of you. You get to use your company's resources, money, people, power, everything you get to use it, and you still make a value out of it. So entrepreneurship is not something you just quit everything and just go venture. You can also do this. So this is something which I don't know how many of you have known, but in my experience, this is very less. And when I got to know that, I think it was very related. And today, the course, the master's, what I'm doing is really helping me how to be more agile as an intrapreneur. So today, the pathway for me to be a CEO is much brighter in any organization, because I can start something without much of work, and I can create it as a business of its own and make it a profitable center. So if tomorrow, if 5 guys are there in the queue of becoming a CEO, I think there's a high chance I will, because all those guys are just working in their own comfort zone, whereas I throw myself in the most risky spot and get the new things done. So I think entrepreneurship is good. If you can also figure out something about entrepreneurship, I think you guys have to think about this, because these are the key things of being innovative. These are the key things of how to be creative in your organizations. You just can't expect everybody to come and talk to you. This is where your network will actually have a huge impact on you. So we will speak about networks and other things in the upcoming things. So just to wrap up this slide, startups fail. A lot of startups fail, but that doesn't mean you should start. It just gets riskier. They would have failed for being something wrong. Learn from others' mistakes. You have support from government. You have support from everybody. In fact, you know what? There's a famous saying that to be successful in entrepreneurship, you need, I think, 3 Fs. That is family, friends, and fools. So if you have at least 2 of them, I think you should really make use of that and be a very good, successful entrepreneur or an intrapreneur. And now comes my next topic, which is about creativity and innovation. How many of you have heard about this thing called 6 thinking hats? Just give me a high five so that I'll know that if, okay, Subham, okay. Looks like a lot of people guys knows. So what do we do with those things? So these are the, very good. So these are the techniques so that when we have a complex problem or a simple problem, we just don't get it finding a solution, right? These things give us a different perspectives of the same solution. Am I really thinking the positive way? Is it really making sense? And one of the huge things of my own learning is about design thinking. And I think recently even me and Prabhu sir had a conversation about that, and he was speaking about his thoughts on how he wants to implement design thinking in AVIT to come out with a lot of more innovative solutions for the challenges what the whole fraternity of AVIT is facing. And I can promise you that it's very, very worth trying that. And I've been part of such design thinking thought process, and I can tell you from my experience, it's very good. Anyway, enough of me drumming about it. Let me show you a simple, So there are some process of doing this design thinking, is that normally in our own, in a way of doing things, it's very linear. When I say linear, there is a step-by-step process, right? You first find out what someone wants, then you create a document, then you execute it. While you're executing, you can't come back. Like there's no way. It's very linear path. Like one leads to another. But design thinking disagrees to that. It's like, it's very chaotic. Even if someone is in the implement phase, you can always go back to empathy phase. So let's go a little bit about each phases. And I thought, instead of just speaking about all of these things, let me give an example so that you sort of understand how can I sort of use this design thinking. I'm sure you can go online and find more relevant experience courses for this and probably equip yourself, because today, if I'm going to sit in an interview and I'm going to tell the hiring manager, I am a very good design thinking practitioner. I can solve any complex problems you have for your organization. Hire me. Not only that, you hire me with 30% more salary than what you're offering or what you thought of offering. And you're going to like, what is design thinking? Then you lay it down to him saying that this is what it is. I'm been practicing it. I'm reading about it. So all your job interviews is all about propositions. So we will speak about that a little later, but yeah, getting back to, am I overrunning the time? No, right?
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, continue.
Okay. So starting with empathy. So, okay. So there was one particular class. I mean, this is, I don't want to name the facility of that, but it's a real case. So there was a typical organization, and they wanted to build a new hospital facility. And that is something which is very, very specific for emergency care. And traditionally, if you just forget all of this design thinking yarn, and traditionally what happens? Anyone can probably say hi and just talk for a minute if you want to also on this topic. Do you think, what is traditional approach? Professor, since your mic is very close, can you just tell us what is the traditional approach when you have a problem in front of you?
What?
Like traditional approach in solving a problem. You start, okay, Avinash is raising hand. Is there a way I can make Avinash to speak?
Yeah, someone should unmute him. That host should do it. 1 minute.
I'm doing so. Let me do so.
Subha Mohan has given. Yeah.
Shubha Mohan, you can speak.
I think that is my friend and someone who's working for me helping.
Okay, Sankrita.
Okay.
Sankrita. Sankrita.
Sankrita?
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. So my question to you is very simple, Sankrita, that when you are giving such a problem to solve, so how do you start normally and how do you finish it? Probably you can just say it in few sentences.
Yeah. We'll first gather data about the problem. That is what statistics about the problem. Then what are the implications persons, and later we'll propose the idea for the problem. And if the idea is correct, then later we'll move on to the implementation. We'll identify
It's
all
like,
the
yeah, pretty straightforward. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So I think that typically in an organization, when something like this happens, first we start finding how can we budget this particular huge project. So there's money involved. So there are stakeholders who are involved in this particular thing. So which means we'll hire someone, a very, very good designer from a very best company. Probably the designer guys will come down. They will see how to build all these things. As rightly said by her, we will take all the data, we will build a new plan, floor plan, everything. And then once it's all said, we will just go. That's the traditional process. Design thinking actually disagrees to that, and they will go a little differently. So probably what they did is that empathize phase, meaning who are the real users of this particular hospital? The patients, the nurse, the ward, the doctors. So having a one-on-one interview with each of them, trying to understand what exactly you are going through, gave a lot of information. In fact, it is a real case where when the company designed a floor plan for the emergency facility, they didn't show them in a paper. What they did, they took a screen and sort of made look like that is the wall. They went to a huge football ground. They planted all this room sizes exactly how they designed. and they asked doctors. That's what we all thought, right? But you know what? Doctors, floor cleaners, the paramedical people, patients, the one who probably will accommodate patients. So that is what is design thinking. It really gets down to the detail of the problem rather than just talking to the best designers, implementing it. No. So design thinking starts from that particular phase. So when in the real case, actually, a lot of the design corrections happen because of someone who cleans the floor. He said, you know, boss, when I'm carrying this, I can't turn left. So this space is very small. So your design may be very efficient from a design standpoint, but from a practical standpoint, it's not. So this is what design thinking does actually. So whereas you cut out the smallest problem arising at a very early stage itself. So once you have a defined stage, then you start collaborating with all these people again to share the ideas. So once you have the idea, then comes the prototype. And prototype, the slogan for design thinking prototype is fail quickly, which means go multiple times the prototype, whether you like it, don't like it, figure out what you want to do, test it. If the test fails, come back to prototype, come back to idea stage, or go back to empathy stage. And it's like a very roundabout process. And end of the day, when you find that all the checkpoints have sort of taken care and you have designed a hospital floor where that has been vetted by even the cleaner and the guy who even carries the patients from a stretcher standpoint. He's like, this is a longer stretcher. I can't even get into the lift. Who the hell designed this particular thing? So normally, of course, you will probably question me, and a lot of the civil engineers will probably get upset, and a lot of people will get upset with me, like, dude, that is something which we do day in, day out. So nobody teaches me, but there is statistically is proving wrong that design thinking helps to nudge out those small things which actually can make a huge difference. So why will I use design thinking? Whenever you want to solve a complex problem, for example, today you can use this particular thing to solve any problem of your own life. Take your own example of what your current problem is, to get a job or go masters or do anything. It all starts like empathizing. You have to really calculate what you need to do, then define this is what you want to do, then idea generation, then so on and so forth. So unless anybody has got a question, then probably I'll quickly move on to the next slide.
Go on to the next slide. You can move.
Okay. Looks like I have one more quiz. Okay. Come on, guys. It's getting closer. Okay, 5, 4, 3. Not bad. I'm at least happy that 28 people are at least participating. That's good. Let me see what's the leadership board showing us this time. Ooh. Okay, we have been having some shuffle. Dinu, Vivek, Muni, all these guys, you can all push up. Naga, you can all come up in next question and then really take on the top 3 people, and you can be on this particular thing. So keep doing this. Now that we have spoken about everything, so now where can I look up all these things? In fact, you just have to look around you. Every small thing starts from looking around you, especially when you're in a college like ABAT, where you have so many facilities. I don't know how many of you even went to the websites to see what you guys have it actually. And in fact, you don't have to even confine to your own university. The knowledge, if you want to really go up, it's mostly everywhere. You can reach out to any, these days, thanks to COVID, a lot of people start taking internet and a lot of things very, very seriously. So let me go one by one. Faculties, of course. all the faculties in your department, in your other departments, if someone wants to do something in artificial intelligence, you can just walk to your department, to the lab, and start saying that, introduce yourself and say, look, I'm interested in this. Read about it. Obviously, don't go without your preparation. Nobody likes someone without a homework. That just shows that you just walked in and you're being a lazy guy. So don't give them a perception that you're just lazy and something. Just go around, do your homework, and say what needs to be done. And especially, I was very glad to know that Coursera and AVIT have some sort of arrangement where a lot of these courses are free. Am I correct, Prabhu sir?
Yes. Yes. Even you're talking about design thinking, I insist students to do some courses on design thinking.
Okay, thank you. So good. See, we have, I think I don't know how many of you even went and saw all these things before. See, today you people have so many things which most of us didn't have while we are doing our courses, but that's the way of life. Prabhu sir was telling me the other day, the guy who goes first to Mount Everest, he had to build a lot of path for others, so that the 100th guy who's walking, he has a path for that. And that's how, if tomorrow you do certain things, the people coming behind you will have certain things. So that's the way the whole phase of life works. So you have to take, seriously about, if you really have a good idea, walk to your incubation center and talk to these guys, say that I have a good idea, I need some help. If you have innovation ideas, take design thinking, solve a social problem and say, I have a design thinking problem solved methodology. I've thought about this and this is the outcome of the design thinking solution. Can I implement it? Or where am I going wrong? These sort of things it's just around you. Even I can quote this as an example. When I was doing my course, I think Madan, I think he's there on the call and probably he'll agree with me that people who were not using any of these facilities and people who are using these sort of facilities, after 15 years of our career path, we all are in different stages of our life, and people who have used it, clearly they had a huge growth rate versus people who have not used this. So for students who are not used it, it's still fine. You can always go back to these places, and especially students in the final year thing, the university doesn't shut doors for you people. You can always take all these approaches. If not, participate in events, Rotary clubs, NSC things. If you just go to your own website, you can find so many things actually. And if I have to give the second credit for my own success story, I won't call it success, I think growth story. I would call it social connections. I do certain things called reach out initiative per day, which means I reach out to a new connection every single day. Throughout the day, if I don't find me doing that, I will not go to bed. I will reach out to some, you can do this. You can read a book and reach out to the guy. In fact, I read about this and that you can always do a lot of things. You can read a book and probably go and email the author saying that, hey, you know what, this book was fantastic. I really liked the book, what you just said. You can find the email address. He may not respond to you day one, but if you start doing this on 365 days, by end of year one, you will have at least 150 connections who know you. And when you want a job or you want to help in your startup, or you want to know where you want to go, reach out to these 150 people. They will give you 100 leads. And that is how social connection works. And you can use emails, you can use calls, you can reference people, because social capital is the biggest asset a student can have. If any of you are telling me that they don't have experience, that's why they don't get a job, I will deny, I'll disagree. Because if you have social capital, you come in front of me and say, Lokesh, you know what, more than you, I know it because I'm studying this subject. You have been working in this subject. I've been studying in this subject. This is the latest trends in this. These are the people who are making the real change. They are part of my social network. I can reach out to them for solutions any point of time. Why don't you hire me? I will solve your problem. I will solve your biggest problem. You don't have to be overconfident, but if you put it same thought humbly, that's a value proposition. When you're sending your emails to companies, just don't send very plain emails like, just hire me, this is my CV. I'm like, this guy is just okay. But if you say like, I think your organization interest is in this space. I have done my own research in this. I have gone to my own college labs and tried out these ideas. I think we might have something in common. Would you want to meet 90% of the say, yeah, I think I don't mind meeting this guy. And once you meet it, there's a high chance you will get placed, right? That's how it starts. So I think I want people to have that consideration in head. And obviously, I was not very active part of Alumni because I kept transitioning and traveling to other places. But you have a very good network of that, and I want people to use it. And one of the things before I go to the next slide, I want to say something today is that these days there is something called online internships, which means you can write out to any organization in the whole world and tell them, I'm ready to do an internship for you. Or free of cost, you give me a work, I will do it for you. And people are taking it very seriously. At least in Australia, I can tell you, in New Zealand, this part of the world, and even in Singapore, if you reach out, unless until they have something very sensitive data and they can't share it with you, most of them are ready to give an online internship. In fact, I'm working with my senior management to get an approval because we work with predominantly banks and everything is sensitive data, and I can't work with students in this space. But there are other people, like you can start up, go to any organization and say, look, there's an online internship I'm ready to do, and please help me out. Of course, you'll get a response. If you don't get a response, reach out to me, ask me, Lokesh, I send this email. So maybe the way you return your email can be better, or the choice of words can be better. And that's where your faculties, your university peoples, your placement officers, everybody, how many times have you people gone and banged these people and irritated these people? I can tell you from my experience, when I was doing my engineering, I didn't do this. I very rarely walked up to Prabhu sir or the HODs of those days, say, help me out. I never did that. Maybe if I've done that, I would have not taken many mistakes and probably had a much more shorter learning curve in terms of this. You don't have to go all around the place to get a point. So these are the people who are right in front of you. You don't have to catch them just on a sec. Send him an email saying that I have this, I want to talk to you about it. This is the homework I have done. Can you help me? 90% that value proposition works the whole world. Well, when to do this? Now that I've spoken about such a lengthy thing, interestingly, like 1/3 of your life is going to be about work. For me, it's relatively more because I spend a lot of my time in reading and working, but most of the people, I think 1/3 of your life is going to be work. And how you do at your work is going to have a huge impact on your whole life. So if you're going to like not pay much attention and just take what is coming and just be someone, you will never be happy. And there is no way someone can be happy. I can, without shame or anything, I can say that among most of the people who I know, I'm the most happiest person because I figure out what is my ikigai. I know what drives me. I know what I'm good at. So that's a constant win-win happening. Keep you motivated. So I want you to all understand this particular thought process that 1/3 of it's going to be this. So you might as well you sort of take care of those things. Start your journey with this. Take a paper or an Excel sheet. It is going to be an exhaustive list. When I say exhaustive, it can be like anything. I like sleeping. I like reading a book. I like reading a book loud to people. I like storytelling. I like driving. Say anything what you want. I'm sure if you can't find a pattern of ikigai, someone else will find it for you. Take it to your Prabhu sir. Take it to any faculty, Sendil sir, Satyaraj sir. Go to all these people and say, hey, you know what? This is something. What am I good at? You've been seeing me for the last 3 years, 4 years. You have to tell me what I'm good at. Most likely, even you can ask your own friends, your classmates. Of course, they might tease you for that. But there will be some sense. If you ask 10 friends of yours, like, hey, what you're good at? And I think, I don't know whether to reveal this or not, people used to call me Peter because I used to always speak in English. And the nickname in my class in my engineering days was Peter. And trust me, that is what served me the purpose of my life. I can speak going on and on. So somewhere I think, ask your friends, they know you better than you know them actually. And most importantly, this is something which not many of us do, is the cost and benefit analysis. Any initiative, any work, what you do, you incur a cost. Am I really getting benefit out of that cost? I'm going to invest 50 lakhs of my master's program right out of my college. Is it really going to make some sense to me? I'm going to do something. Is it going to really benefit me? If I'm going to just work this, it's going to benefit me. Keep doing this analysis. I do that every single day. Like every single day, my whole life revolves around that. If it makes sense, I'm sure it makes sense. And last but not least, I wanted to understand that we are all having a huge responsibility and a gratitude towards our parents because they have given a huge contribution, their sacrifices and other things. I think you should definitely do a little bit of justice to their own life. And I'm not having children, so probably I will not understand that. But whoever is having, they will understand what I'm saying. That of course your parents will be cribbing about you, but you will figure out life in a way it's supposed to happen. Oops, we are in a last thing, and we will probably know who's playing part where.
What about Lokesh? Is there any issue?
No, I just want to show who's the fastest winner, and so that we can move on with that. And so suddenly it's not happening.
One more question is there, no? Last question.
Yeah, that's what I want to give them so that they can be happy about it. But suddenly, oh yeah, I got it. Sorry, guys. So last question. This is a time for people to really make some sense and some difference in that, and let's see who gets this time. Just click it. Don't think. Can you see this?
Actually, leaderboard is there. Okay. Question yet to come. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah. You know this. What we don't have in AVIT. Okay, 16, 17. 2, 1. Okay, here is the final answer. Okay, all the people, I'm going to send a list of students who said they don't have an incubation center, IoT lab, and all these people, I'm going to send a list of students who answered that to their faculties because they are not even sort of knowing what is in AVIT actually.
At least this is the right chance for them to know. That's why I asked you to include this question. I think you come up with the question. I included few labs actually.
This is not on, guys. And it's okay. I mean, we all learn from our mistakes. It's still. I mean, even tomorrow morning you can wake up and figure out what you want to do with all this lab, and then still go and pursue things. Because when I was studying, we didn't have these facilities. Anyway, before boring you guys, I'll quickly go and find out who is the winner of this. First, top 3 winners. Okay, I think we got all the first top 3 winners. Yes. Sankruta is the topper in this, Vivek and Ashwit.
Sankruta from Mechatronics, I hope. Mechatronics or AAA? I'm not sure. Mechatronics, yeah.
And Vivek Kumar and Ashwit Kota. I think I'll take the email address and I'll individually do the further things. I think I've taken a lot of time, so I'll quickly wrap up. Okay, I think my part is done. If the questions are anything, I'm more than happy to take it. But if there's a time constraint, I don't mind having an email to people to be sending to me. I can definitely, probably I'll take a day or 2 to respond to your questions. That is also fine.
You share your email in the chat box, email ID, so that they can just. I'll take their thing and send to you regarding the winners.
Yes, because I've taken a lot more time of each of you, so I think I just got drifted away by saying my own story.
It's okay. It's a really nice presentation. As I said at the beginning itself, that it's not a regular technical presentation. It's all about his experience and how we have to take things. Actually, Lokesh has changed a lot. He's not this kind of person at the beginning. With his experience, he has just transformed into a true leader. now is heading there is a company operations in Australia. It's not a joke. Definitely has gone for certain things, and that especially reach out of a new, that is reach out to any new person or a new initiative. That is one thing that even I am a little bit attracted to. We'll try to do it on a regular basis. It will help us to that is go for any new connect, new that is readings or new information that we can able to get. That is, these are all the things, and even Ikagi, I am also not that much pronouncing it correctly. Ikagi also, it's all that we are coming out. Everyone will have their own patient and other things. How we are going to balance it, how we are going to win it using this Ikagi, that is concept. That is also a little bit very interesting. And you explained about this thing, that how the alumni contribution, how the students should utilize the lab, especially the Coursera, what are the initiatives taken by the colleges for the students' benefit, all these things. Why I generally ask you to talk about this is, it's very simple, that that is Lokesh, when he was there in the college, he used to be like this only, that whatever the activities that we conduct, they won't involve that much. But now he is insisting that if he participated in those events, it might have not taken him for almost 15 or 14 years to reach this position. Might have reached it in 10 years. But
I agree
whatever
with you,
whatever the things is there, but you have to take risk. Don't fear to do anything. Many people have not participated in the quiz itself. Almost 75 to 80% was there, but only 56 was active. What about the remaining 24? I'm excluding the faculty. I'm talking about almost 105 was there at the initial, or 80, 90 was there. So almost 20, 30 faculty means remaining 70 was there. Why they have not participated? You should not hesitate. Start doing certain things. Once you start doing, then only you can able to that is come out of that that is a fearless attitude, and you can go for good applause if you can reach the top position. It was really a wonderful session. It's not a regular that is that is a technical session. You have nailed the point. You have elaborated. Even you have mentioned that India is a top. That is about the education aspect and all. You clearly explained. It was a very good session. Looking forward to have more collaboration with you. Even our management also will talk to you later on how we can able to get things done, especially in terms of alumni and doing online internship for our students in this COVID itself. I'll be in touch with you. Any other questions from the student side? Please raise your hand. Student side.
Okay, Samkruta is having some question.
Someone should unmute her. Great.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible.
Sir, you told that you have to you have to gain some experience first, and then you can approach university, so that you may have some ideas related to that. But I have a little doubt, because I'm not from a financially well-settled background, and I don't know. I know that I have to approach colleges for scholarship through websites, but I don't know exactly how to get 100% result back. But because if I'm applying for a scholarship, how to do that in a productive manner?
Just to assess what you just. Yeah, finish it.
You are now pursuing your masters. So
yes.
Have you applied for any scholarships, or are you if not, how to apply for a scholarship in a particular university?
So I think these days scholarships is being given to people who are actually sort of doing more of PhD programs and sort of that, and relatively, at least what I'm saying from what's happening. So unless and until you are able to show some value back to the society or to the organizations, very rarely you get scholarships for those particular things. But as you rightly said, if you are saying that, I think there are a few things which we can take it offline as well. Probably let me speak to you and understand where you are coming from, and probably give you more specific things.
Thank you.
I was really trying to tell people that if you're choosing your path of your whatever it is, don't try to prejudge it and then try to work it out, because you will probably struggle yourself to put through. I don't know whether you didn't even figure out what is your ikigai. Like, do you really want to do a master's? That's a question I'll ask yourself. So scholarship is, of course, definitely, most of these organizations are not giving, university is not giving these days, simply because they want to give it to their local students. I'm speaking about abroad. They want to give it to their locals. International students do get some certain amount of research benefits and other things, unless and until you are able to be part of something what they are doing. Like you could be a faculty of associate where you're really teaching something, or a part of their research, or your research topic and their research topic has something to do. Nobody gives anybody a free meal. So that's what I was trying to say. But if you're still promising me that, yes, I have a proposition why I should take up a master's and I believe this, I think you can definitely find a way forward for you. Maybe you can just reach out to me in person. Probably I will help you out on that.
Sure. Thank you, sir. I get it. Thank you so much.
Shasad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So at your initial stage, sir, when you are a fresher, so what industry wants from you, and now as you are recruiting a person, so what you are seeing, what you want from a person to be on a fresher? What do you want from a fresher?
Yeah, thanks for bringing us so that it can be much helpful for others as well. Wish I knew this when I was in your age and probably could have changed my own life in that sense. I think from a fresher, what an organization expect is that the first thing is I expect someone should have at least done their curriculum properly. When I say that, at least you should have secured a decent amount of marks. Show some, how do I say that? It's the right word for that. I want to see the genuinity. I think that is what an organization these days are looking for. They are not looking for your, I've not hired people who are only from a different college. If I see genuinity in you, and I see that there is a fire in you which you want to genuinely do it, then people actually pick it. That's what interview is all about, right? I ask you questions, you answer me questions. What am I really trying to test? I'm trying to test whether are you even genuine? Are you even trying to tell me what is true? So that is something experienced persons can actually pick it in the first 15 minutes or 10 minutes or even lesser than that actually. So how genuine are you even you are telling what you are saying? Because definitely you don't have an experience, and today nobody wants to stick with the same organization for, like, I will hire you, then you will say, sorry, I'm moving on because someone else is paying me better for me. So that from an employer standpoint, a lot of organization problems these days are people, there is no faithful if I hire them. When I say faithful, people move on very easily. They find something better. That's good, completely fine. So what problem is that from an organization that puts an organization at a very awkward position, because I hired you, I have spent a lot of time in that process, but you are just walking out of it. So why should I even hire a fresher? I might as well hire someone who is senior and get the job done. So a lot of organizations show very least interest towards fresher. Is one of the reasons is this. But how can you show that to someone saying that, look, I'm not just, so as long as if you're able to tell me how genuinely you want to stick back to me, that is where you're going to tell him, look, your organization is about artificial intelligence, or your organization is about mechatronics, or your organization is running behind how to fix something in CAD. That is my interest. I have been doing this. If you show genuine, when I say genuinity, you got to say that you're really hardworking. You can't say I just went for a class, I spent it like 5-6 hours, and things like that. So obviously, if you show genuinity, I think people can pick it. And give a very good proposition. When I say proposition, tell them why they should hire you instead of allowing them to figure out what they should figure out. If you kind of by telling that, you're actually making my job much easier. I get 100 applications. Everybody is sending me the same old cover letter. Sir, kindly attach CV. Please consider me for this position. There's nothing for me to read out. I have to open the CV. I have to look for the information, whether this guy will be fit for me, not fit for me. If he is a fit, to what degree he is a fit. So if you can solve those problems in your email and send it to me with already solved problem, like, Lokesh, your organization is looking for this. I have an experience. I have read all the articles on the online. I have read, that is where your faculties will be helpful. That is where the resources, what you have in your university will be helpful to direct you to the right talent or the right person, so that you get your domain knowledge. I call it domain knowledge. Like if you're running behind, what's your favorite area of interest? Let's just quickly ask you that. Well, what are you looking at after this particular program?
I want to do a job in an industry, like I want to be in a safety department.
So quality and control and safety is your department.
Management safety, that kind of.
Yeah. So if you want to be in the part of that safety department.
Lokesh, can I answer to him?
Oh yeah, please, Madan. Thanks for pitching in. Please go ahead.
Yes, we won't expect anything from you because we just observe.
Madan, please introduce yourself so the students will.
Yes, as guys, I'm one of the ex-student of AVIT.
Okay.
Passed out in 2006. I'm working in Renault Nissan and R&D.
Okay, sir.
So as to answer your question, as soon as we hired you, we don't expect anything from you. We just observe and monitor you. So based upon your activity and based upon your interest, we guide you to a required path. So this is the expectations when a person is coming fresh to the organization. They won't expect a big thing from a person who is learning from a learning career. So don't expect much that you can build a ship in 1 month or 2 months. They may take a time, 2 years or 3 years. So just be in a vision, what you need and what you want to do and what is your aim.
Okay, sir.
Thanks, Madan. Thanks for helping me out. In fact, interesting point, guys. I know this is probably relevant. Me and Madan used to have next roll number. Actually, Lokesh and then Madan. So all my exams and my thing, I always had him at the back of me, but that guy never helped me. That's a different altogether question. But thanks again for helping me out in this. As you rightly said, freshers, we know what you are built of. We don't expect spectacular things. Rome was not built in a day. So, but if you can show genuinity and show that you actually care for what you really care, that is something which can actually, it's very contagious. If I know that you are something like this and if you are really proving to me that you are more than what others in your class will know about QC, then that's it. That's a high chance for you to getting hired. That is what we expect. I mean, there's no expectation per se, but that's would be nice to have actually. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Any other?
Thank you, Shazad. Vivek Kumar Shukla.
No, thank you.
Vivek Kumar Shukla, you are raised your hand. Hello. Vivek. Could you speak out? Okay.
Unable to mute. Unable to unmute, it seems.
I'm unmuting him. I think he is muting him.
Yeah, now you can speak.
Hi, Vivek.
Vivek? Hello. Or type your question in the chat box, Ma. Vivek? If you couldn't unmute, please type your question.
No question is a wrong question, guys. There's no right answer as so just don't try. Just ask what you want to ask. Yep. I can see some chat messages coming up.
Okay, Sindhil, shall we go for?
I think
yes, given, sir.
After graduation, we get confused with the selection of interest-based job. Madan, you want to chip in, or can I go ahead with this?
Yes, you can go ahead. If required, I can have a detailed answer for this.
I think this clarity is what I think I was trying to tell you through Ikigai, is that these are the concepts which you have to put yourself so that you will never miss out clarity. Sometimes lack of clarity can make you demotivated in whatever job or endeavor you are doing, and people can really see through that, and someone who's hiring you will know that he's not interested in what he's doing, so why should I even have him? Okay, yeah, so the point is I get confused at all points of time, so that's the reason why I moved out from being a mediocre developer, because it's good to have sort of this confusion, because confusion will lead you just have that desire to solve that into a clarity. Confusions are good because which means there is some conflict in your thought process. That's when you have a confusion, right? So the moment you have a confusion, try to figure out how can I find a clarity for that. And I had that thing. So, but you need to find solutions for that, because you can always start something and probably you can keep venturing out into other things. Like you can start as a safety designer, or sorry, not designer, safety QC guy. But once you start working, you figure out actually this is not something you like to do. I'm not happy with my choices. That is when your networks, your social connections, your faculties, a lot of these people, ask 10 of these people, I'm having this clarity, I'm having this confusion, what should I do? What is your opinion? I still do that. I talk to my mentors, and that's when a lot of things start slowly coming to, because some things we can't see. Even when you articulate the problem to someone, you can slowly get clarity on that actually. Even if you're like articulating a problem, you know what, I have this problem, I don't know how to go about this. Even articulating a problem can actually bring in solutions, and that's called, I mean, I do that most of the time. It's called, you know, thinking out of the box. Like sometimes you just have to talk to yourself, and I'm sure you'll get an answer, or just talk to others actually. Am I answering this question to you? I know it's a little vague answer, because there's no correct answer for this. There's no, I wish I could give you that. I mean, there's nothing straightforward for that.
Sir, actually, like while after graduation, when you get into, like you get selected for a company, but those are your like interest-based companies, and then you need to select any one of those companies which you think like. So during that time, we usually get a confusion like whether we should go for this or this, like which would be the better choice. So like how to get out of it, like what to select and how to get confusions removed and all.
Oh, that's a good problem to have. In fact, if you have multiple offer letters when you're passing out of the engineering, I mean, those are things in my life I call as good problems to have and bad problems to have. This is definitely a good problem to have on your pocket. And I can tell you what I did. I always looked at if the organization has room for growth, and are they in the right technology? What is the organizational culture? I mean, that is what I think is very important. You might be a very successful person unless and until your organization sort of supports you in that journey. I was very lucky to be part of organizations who really helped me to pursue what I have to pursue. If you join an organization who are not hungry to do certain things, then it's a little cultural thing. That is where your contacts really help you to solve that particular problem. How can I really see that this organization is better and that organization is better from their organizational culture? I think that is something you can definitely take. Talk to people who are already working in the organization, but most likely they'll bitch about the organization. But apart from that, you can have your thing, and there's no right answer for your question, to be very honest with you. It only is, for me, I always take an organization which has got much more of very good organizational culture, and I also see what is my boss is up to. For example, if I'm going for an interview and Madan is my guy who is interviewing me, and I'm going to report to him, I try to understand if you have attended interviews like 5 different places and everybody are trying to offer, who did I have a very good synergy of, while in the interview process, among all these 5 guys, whom did I really feel connected to, sort of things. That is another cue you can get it actually, because I give my success to all my mentors and all my ex-bosses actually. If they have thought I'm not worth of anything, I will not even come so far. So the relationship between your boss and you is something which is very, very instrumental in your growth in coming days of your life. So I think that is something which you can take off. Madan, if you can add something, I think that'll be great for everyone.
Yes, sir. So basically, you have to choose your path. Normally, while interviewing, they may ask plenty of questions which is not relevant to the interview job itself. So it's very difficult to predict what is the expectations and what sort of job nature. So once you are get stepped into the organization, you will be well aware about the surroundings and all these things. The company doesn't have one rule of job. They may have plenty of channels. So you please just establish yourself in the organization, and based on that you create a contacts with different resources. Then you can choose a path if you are interested in purchase, if you are interested in design, if you are interested in testing. So you can able to choose your career once you are entered into the organization. So you just wait until you are just pushing your ball near to the goal. Don't what to tell don't think a lot in a premature stage itself.
Thank you, Madan. That was very crisp, actually. Yeah, I think that is something which I can definitely rely on. You just get into that's called foot on the door. You just get into the foot on the door in the building, and then you figure out what you want to do. Then you can have your clarity on that. Okay. Any other questions?
Thanks a lot. I think
Director sir is there. If wanted to give any concluding remarks.
Well, I have had at least few hundreds of talks in my career, but this is one talk which is something very different from all the things which I had. And I am happy that at least 50 plus students are still hanging on to the meeting. I have few things to say. Maybe unfortunately the COVID has come in the way and I'm not able to interact with you. In fact, I like interacting with the students. In fact, some of the questions I was itching to answer, but I thought that this is not my day and so I should not get into somebody else's shoes. First thing is, if somebody says that I am not confused, now I am completing my engineering, I am not confused. You are cheating yourself or you do not know what the world is. Everybody is in the same boat at some point of the other. Another thing is, I want to keep very short because already we are exhausted more than 2 hours. Is first you should have short-term goals, short-term targets, and you should have a direction for that. You should work hard, and you should always be ready to learn. I mean, especially in this current age where things are changing so fast, you should be able to learn. There is nothing like once you become a BE or ME or PhD or something, it's not that you have become a master and you are at a dictating to. No, you have to continuously learn. That you should be ready. Even at the age of 60, you should be ready to learn. You should have some short-term targets. In fact, I close my this thing with one point, one quote which my elder brother has told me. When he told me this, it really struck that yes, it is true. He told me that you do not know what you want in life. That is why you are always unhappy. Maybe some of my students, I don't want to tell to my faculty, I was the director of the internationally known second largest R&D organization. There is a number of positions which I held. Now I am working as a director research. This is the biggest position in research part of it, in the academic organization. Still I am not happy. I want to do something more. I really do not know what I want to do, but I want to pursue and I will go running and keep running. Anyhow, thank you very much. And I am happy and I should, Prabhu told me to conclude. So I thank Mr. Lokesh and Madan for sparing their valuable time to interact with our students. And I'm sure you might have seen how Lokesh was talking, how he is articulating, how he is presenting himself. These are some things to be learned in addition to what he has talked. And I should congratulate our Vice Principal Admin for identifying him and bringing to this international alumni series. And I congratulate all the faculty members, many senior colleagues from mechanical department are there. I don't want to talk the names. And I mean, of course, Senthil is always in the front run. When you say mechanical department, Prabhu and Senthil come to the forefront and take the responsibility. Thank you very much. And it's nice participating in this program.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to mention one thing before the general closing. Out of this 5 days, we had there is our alumni who is working in abroad in a good position. They have addressed the students. Out of this five, three are from 2016 batch. All those three members were placed during the in campus. There is a campus placement. They got two of them in from through that is Hitachi and one for Start Race. In Start Race now he is heading the mining operations in Egypt, and one person, those who joined in Hitachi, has completed worked for 18 months there. Then he went to that is UK. He did his masters. Now he's working as a project that is a manager in a robotic company, Bristol, UK. And yesterday, Haripriya, she also joined in Hitachi as a that is through campus placement. After that, she worked there for few months. There is few years. Then she there is had did her MS in US. Now she is working in USA. So all these things are placed with the help of our placement officer Lakshmi Mohan, who is there with us. I'm very happy to that is call him for his final remarks here. Lakshmi Mohan sir,
Sure.
because I couldn't. He's not there. Is there or not?
Yes. It's not there. He's gone for another meeting, sir. He's gone for an IIIT meeting.
Because I couldn't able to call him at the beginning. Actually, that's the problem. I asked him to join. So I just thank him. Since now you can go for the official.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank our Lokesh and Madan Raj for giving an elucidating presentation. It was much insightful. Thanks for our director, sir, to give us the concluding remarks. A good start will have a good end, and I'm so happy in proposing a formal vote of thanks for this international webinar series. Actually, the Department of Mechanical Engineering is the first department to conduct alumni lecture at AVIT by inviting various alumni of different walks according to their availability. As a positive side of this pandemic situation, now the lecture program has been stepped up to an international alumni webinar series with 5 alumnus from different parts of the globe, but all rooted from AVIT. First day we had Mr. Ashwin Narayanan from Kuwait of 2004-2008 batch, and second day we had Mr. Prabhu Raidu from 2012 to 2016 batch. He's from UK. And the third day we had Mr. Jay Ganesh as a project manager in Start Race from the 2012 to 2016 batch. And yesterday we had Ms. Haripriya Ganesh, currently in the USA. She dealt about higher studies abroad. She's also belonging to 2012 to 2016 batch. And as a nutshell, we had a lecture on what's next, higher studies, entrepreneurship, life abroad, and innovation, and many more. We have covered almost all the topics of all we had for the 1-week webinar series. My sincere thanks to Mr. Lokesh Babu for turning up to his alma mater and showing his interest towards his fellow juniors. Thank you, Lokesh Babu. And also thank Madan Raj for joining his friend and his alma mater again. Thank you, Madan Raj. We would like to record our sincere thanks to our magnanimous management for providing us the support in all our activities. Our sincere gratitude to our director, sir, Dr. S.A. Satyamurthy, for his August presence today and also for delivering the presidential address. My heartfelt thanks to Mr. Syed Mohammed, Director International Relations, for delivering the special address and his wishes. Sincere thanks to our Vice Principal for their consistent support. Special thanks to our guiding and driving force, Professor L. Prabhu, VP Admin, without whom the event would have not been rolled out today. Sincere thanks to our Professor Dr. M. Prabhagar for the support and all the faculty colleagues for their active involvement. Sincere appreciation to Professor Satyaraj, the Department Alumni Coordinator, for his entire wonderful coordination. And my appreciation goes to the fellow coordinators, Professor Anthony and Professor Imtiaz, for their consistent support. Sincerely thank all the student delegates from AVIT and also from the outside for all this 5 days participation. And do you all think this is an end? No. Actually, this is a prelude to the Grand Gala Virtual Alumni Meet scheduled on July 12th, Sunday, between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So I again repeat, there is a Grand Gala Virtual Alumni Meet on July 12th, Sunday, between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Dear all, please join. Please join. Let's rejoice and rejuvenate. Thank you one and all for joining. Miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep. Thank you.
Sindhil, who has collected the winners participant winners list? Somebody.
I have it, Professor. I think.
Yeah,
I have it. So it's basically I'll just repeat it one more so that they can know. The first prize goes to Sankruta. Second is Vivek Kumar Shukla, and the third is Ashwit Kotayan. So I'll talk to you about these things, and from there we'll take it forward.
The other way around. Is it the other way around, or Sankruta is first?
Yes.
Sankruta first. Yeah. You told the other way around.
Okay. No problem. I think I'm not used to speaking for this long, 2 hours, 3 hours, and boring you all. I'm sorry if I overtook your time, but I always thought I should have voiced out. And if I had this sort of someone speaking to me 15 years back, I would have probably achieved what I've achieved in less than 7 years. And I hope at least these people who have got through something out of it, I'll be very happy. Please reach out to me if you have any doubts, any clarity on that, to me and Madan. I'm sure both of us or any of us will help you along in this journey.
Don't forget about that internship, online internship.
Absolutely. So once I have the whole idea is to, you can not only rely on me, you can rely on everybody. But I think I definitely want to give an opportunity to a couple of students for an online internship.
You can give a reference.
Definitely, Prabhu sir. I think Prabhu sir is on spot. He's not letting me go without a confirmation. Definitely, sir. I think I'll definitely do that.
Okay. Thank you, Lokesh.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.